Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Peachimari Season 2 Overwatch League Tournament. My name is Professor AJ. Joining me tonight is my good friend, Hotel Daraj. Now, we have a couple of things to go over before we start this match. This match between Orca and Royalty. We just want to tell you a little bit about this tournament. For this intermediate division game between these two teams, we have 16 teams entered into this division, split into two different sides. We also have a recreational division, which is a little bit lower than this SR-wise, and they are going to have 8 teams. For this schedule, we have quite a season ahead of us. Today is the first game of the tournament. The regular season runs through January 30th with a nice holiday break in there. We have play-ins starting on January 31st, playoffs February 2nd, and the grand finals between February 1st and February 27th. This is going to be a 7-week rather, regular season for you guys and for these teams. Now, Otel, tell us about these two teams that we are going to be seeing here tonight.
Well, AJ, we've got Orca and we've got Royalty. The wonderful thing about week one is it's all up in the air. I don't know any of these players. We haven't seen them play yet. But, I've taken a look at the rap sheet of both of these teams, and I gotta say, it's looking like we might have a bit of a barn burner tonight. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a great kickoff match for this season, and I'm here for it.
I'm very excited for that. And if I do remember correctly, you told me earlier that these two teams are quite evenly matched. Who are some of the players that we are going to be looking for tonight to show up?
Well, I mean, you got a really even spread across both of these teams. I think it's going to be, you know, this is their moment to shine. These players, I can't say who's going to be the standout, but I'm looking forward to figuring it out.
Awesome, awesome. So we do have a map pool for this week one season. For control, we're going to be either going to Lijiang or Ilios. Assault maps are Anubis or Volskaya. For hybrid, Numbani and Kings Row. And for escort, Gibraltar and Junkertown. And if we go to a map 5, you know we're going back to control, my friend.
Indeed. And, control, always an exciting opener, always an exciting closer, no draws there. I'm
Absolutely.
I would be very pleased if that's where this evening ends up heading.
Oh, me too. Me too. And it looks like we're going to start off on everybody's favorite first scrim map in Lijiang Tower. Now, we've played Lijiang Tower quite a few times together in our competitive careers. What are some of the things that we might be looking for tonight from these two teams on each of the 3 maps on Lijiang Tower?
Well, the thing about Lijiang Tower is it is diverse. You have a lot of different viable strategies depending on what stage you're on. That being said, it's also the home, the stomping grounds of a more niche hero. I'm betting we're probably going to see some Symmetra. It's incredibly popular on both Control Center and Night Market. But then, Gardens, it's usually Speed, Boop City, so there's a lot of possible variety for us here rolling into Lijiang.
Yeah, we could see double shield. We can see double bubble. We can see rush. We can see any other thing really on control center. Garden seems to be more rush centric map, but you can also play spam. On gardens, there's all sorts of stuff to do. Um, I'm very excited to see it and see where this meta takes us because we've been off from the Overwatch League for quite a little while and without much balance changes either. So we might kind of see something similar to what we saw in the grand finals in the last few weeks of the season as well. Um, I'm very excited for it. It looks like we're just about to get underway here with our two teams, Orca and Royalty. So strap yourselves in. Get ready for this first matchup of the second season of Peachimari, folks. Here we are, loading in
Now
to
arriving
Lishang
at
Tower.
Lijiang Tower.
duelist combination. You know, it is actually almost a little surprising to me that they had the success they did with Zeus seeming to struggle throughout that first point to I mean, they only built one grav in the round, you know? It's like they
Right.
built it and then they were dead 2 fights in a row with it and, you
Yeah,
know,
I don't even know
they're
what his
looking for
charge
that
was at.
perfect moment. They're
Yeah, I'm
looking
not
for
even
that
sure
perfect moment usually, but, you know, Orca pulled it out regardless. You know, Griffin and Jog both came up very large on that
they did.
point.
And it was a very even Rhine battle as well. Crafty and Timbo, they didn't seem to get shattered very often. Their teams did, but it seems as though the Rhines 1v1, there was only like maybe one or two pins either way. But it seemed to be a very even main tank battle for the most part, which is fun to see.
And
Uh,
it does
and then
look like this is where we get to see some variety.
and that's what we like. I mean, it's always an incredible game of Overwatch where you get to see 10, 11, 12 different heroes on the map at once. And the differing styles for the teams as well.
Yeah, there's
This
not
is
a
going to
single
be,
mirrored hero on this map right now. This is gonna
yeah,
be a
this
absolute
is incredible.
fiesta.
This is the kind of Overwatch
All
that we
right,
love.
Iconic getting that early positioning as ball here as Crafty around that corner. Gonna slam, but not find much, as
It's a
it
good
is
effort.
Royalty shelling away with this Far Mercy up in the air. As now
Oh,
Iconic
getting that.
continuing to look to make something happen, but it looks like Griffin getting a hack off is going to possibly be able to punish that ball, at least dissuade them from staying. And Orca with a very clean engagement.
Oh, Pyrosa, you madman.
And
That
Orca
was fun to
gets
watch.
the first cap.
So, yeah, something that you might not have seen. Griffin and Fanta over on the white side of point. Griffin was able to hack the Tracer and finish him off before the fight even started.
That is a feels bad man if ever I've heard one.
Yeah, gotta keep your head on a swivel, man.
As now it is the DPS line of Royalty poking away from this side of the point, just shelling out damage, but is it going to find the important picks? It does! Ice Spirit falls to Durian Dave, and this is the opening they're looking for. Durian Dave uses the Rocket Barrage, but it finds nothing. Zeus very much on top of it with their defense matrix. And a lot of kills going back and forth right now as Durian Dave is trying to make something happen. It does look like Royalty is getting the kills, but no one yet was on point, and that's a lot of free percentage as this fight took place largely, entirely off point.
Yeah.
They still
But
have a cap.
I mean, that's
Griffin's back
unfortunate.
to prevent the cap. Okay, you missed your opportunity, Royal.
Yeah,
As
at
now
first I was. No, please go on.
Spawns coming back in from Orca is now 5 bodies on the point, and now the numbers advantage is just in their favor. If you're sipping Fanta, you've got to be kicking yourself for not getting that cap when you had the chance.
Yeah. Oh?
It looked like that was a style Death Blossom.
You just gotta get in there and finish it up, I guess. Gotta show him what's happening. I do have to say, I'm not exactly sure what Iconic is doing on this Hammond right now. It seems like he is playing incredibly safe and not really having much of an impact here.
Definitely watching out for that Sombra, keeping him in check as now the EMP comes out, finds 2, and it will, well, 3 actually, and that will be more than enough to push this fight in favor of Orca as a very clean fight for them thus far, losing essentially nothing.
Spin to win.
Now it is going to be
Hack.
Ice Spirit cleaning up the 1-2 Yan. And just a lot of ults coming out from Orca, and that is going to be a very clean Lijiang Gardens.
Yeah, that was not anything like what the first map was like. Orca taking Lijiang Tower to go up 1-0 in the series. It looks like we're gonna watch the play of the game here. We're gonna take a peek alongside Yogg on the Doomfist on Gardens. Now
Finds that punch.
Yeah,
That is
you
a
gotta love
clean
it.
engage.
It was a long punch off the map. Now let's walk through Lijiang Tower here, just one little bit. We kind of went over Gardens a little bit, or Night Market rather. Let's go to Gardens here. What do you think happened on the side of Royalty? Why weren't they able to sync up? Do you think it was just Griffin on the Sombra really causing a lot of disruption, or do you think there was some kind of miscommunication? Do you think there was just no targets for them to engage on? Do you think they needed to switch comps entirely? What are your thoughts there?
Well, let's just start with the composition. Iconic, you're just going to have a tough time. You're playing against Moira Lucio, Winston Diva with a Sombra and a
Yeah,
Reaper. Like, every engage for you is essentially doomed to I'm going to slam approximately nothing, get hacked, and die. That is if you're aggressive. But if you're not being aggressive as ball, you'd probably just be better off playing something else.
right.
Uh, but I think the real kicker of Gardens, the real difference maker, because we saw a lot of flipping back and forth on Night Market. I feel like Royalty might have let their eyes slip from the prize. They were taking that fight in White Room. It lasted a long time. It took a long
Oh
time to
yeah,
clean up, but nobody was on point. You had that opportunity. Just one player could have gone and sat on point, gotten a point flip at like 40%, if not
right,
earlier. And then all of a sudden, you're the one who's playing the stall game. But they had that moment. We had Sip and Fanta sitting on the point. They were about to cap, and then they went back to White Room to help with cleanup. By that point, Griffin was there. Griffin had
right.
come back off spawn. And it's so important to have control of the point as early and often as possible in a control map because every second counts.
I agree.
And
I agree
if you
100%.
if you get too obsessed with the fight happening in White Room, ultimately it was like one person left alive. Your team's going to clean them up. Just focus point.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Um, so it looks like our next pick is for Temple of Anubis. Clearly one of everyone's favorite maps. um, as is the entire game mode of 2CP. Now, just from the two sections that we've seen of Lijiang Tower, um, do we kind of see any sort of tendencies developing from these two teams? I can't really say that for sure. But just regards of the metas of what has been played on Temple of Anubis, what's something that we can expect to see here next?
Well, we did see a bit of a rush mirror on Night Market. I wouldn't be surprised to see some rush. That being said, anyone who's been playing this game for any length of time knows that First Point Anubis can be a real pain in the neck to capture with a rush composition if they run any form of spam. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see either Orca or Royalty roll out with more of a dive composition that's always been very popular on First Point Anubis, to be able to get in with one cooldown instead of having to kind of walk through the narrow hallways. So I that would probably be my guess. I'm guessing that we might see some dive. If not, then it's probably just going to be rush and can't complain. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I mean, I would be extremely excited to see Double Bubble versus Double Shield to see the push and pull from the two teams. But being able to see a mirror match between either one of those compositions would also be very interesting for me to see, because in those two poke comps or in those two dive comps, there's plenty of different DPS that can be played in accompaniment with those sets of tanks. Um, you know, just putting that out there.
I mean, that's true. And, we have seen that Zeus is not afraid to pick up the Zarya in situations where, perhaps a diva might be a more popular pick. That being said, it has clearly been to enable not only Crafty on the Reinhardt, but also Jog on the Doomfist.
Right?
And, I think this should be a good map for both teams, I think. I think, if you're Royalty, you just got to ignore that last round and recenter and bring it home.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There was definitely what some would say a shellacking on Gardens, and it wasn't exactly pretty to be 99 100 to 100 nothing. That's got to be definitely something on the ego. But here coming into Temple of Anubis, they have the chance to reset that, get right back in the match, and I'm hoping that's what we're going to see. And I'm sure that's what Royalty is hoping as well. We do have a sub as well. Soccer Steve is in for Fanta, and I believe that is all the subs we have as of right now.
Well, I look forward very much to seeing what Soccer Steve has to bring to this DPS line of Royalty.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he's, somehow related to Scuba Steve, but, there's maybe there's some Big Daddy fans out there.
Steve's of many hobbies.
Yes, Steve has hobbies, mostly starting with S. But here we've got a dive. We've got well, royalty. Let's see if they're going to be on attack here. If I can read the screen correctly, they're going to try this ball Zarya again.
And it does look
Now,
like a pretty classic Pharaoh dive here.
yeah, that's
Some
exciting,
old
especially on
school.
defense. Especially on
Yeah,
defense, they're going to look to be aggressive, or they're just going to be counter diving, which is also completely viable. Um,
perhaps.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to dive the back line, and it's going to be extremely, extremely important for the DPS as well as Swifters to keep their Ana alive.
It does look like we have the ball Zarya rolling out here as Iconic is making a mad dash for that top mega above the point. There's now just a lot
He's
of
straight for the
spam
Ana.
coming out.
He's getting information along with Soccer Steve.
Yeah, it does look like Ice Spirit has been scouted here.
Yeah.
But as has Iconic, Zeus coming up to cover their Ana. And the engage onto Ice Spirit. Is it going to be enough? Nope. Zeus is there with the cover. And still no deaths on either side. And just as I say it, Zeus does
Caster's
manage to find
curse.
Soccer Steve. You got to caster curse it to make something happen.
Yeah, true.
But Iconic going for a big slam on a platform, but isn't going to be able to find anyone, as really just a very self-sufficient composition here from Orca.
Yeah, Orca is playing very patiently. Very, very patiently. They are waiting for things to happen because they're playing defense. There's no need for them to go out and make something happen. This is all on Iconic, Durian Dave, and Soccer Steve to do something.
Yeah, you've got this hit squad here of Iconic, Durian Dave, and Soccer Steve, but they haven't been able to get much done with how split Orca is playing, as Griffin popping that barrage finds two to just send him back to spawn, take Timbo's energy by force.
Yeah.
And
If
still
he had
just
energy.
Royalty struggling to really make something happen. They are coming up on that Nano Blade, though. They will be there very soon, probably within the next 20-ish seconds.
Yeah, that could be their win condition. They could just be biding their time here, looking for something to happen with the ultimates, and there's nothing wrong with that because there are no defensive ults on the side of Orca right now.
It looks like Soccer Steve dropping a pulse bomb, not finding anything. Iconic's going to drop a minefield on this objective, try to get a little bit of progress, and they are going to clean up Ice Spirit, who had nowhere to go. As now it's just Soccer Steve on this objective, trying to get to that first tick. As Pyrosia coming in with the res for their Ana, and now once again 6 bodies alive for Orca. And it just seems like they just can't seem to find an opening. Royalty really struggling, and they still haven't built that Nano Blade.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. But there it is. It does seem as though Zwyas on the D.Va is doing an extraordinarily good job of peeling for his team here. But here's the
Blade
Nano
comes
Blade.
in. It doesn't get a Nano!
Oh,
The Nano
no.
is gone. He does manage to find Griffin, but is it going to be enough? That's only 1 kill. And Pyrosia's going to have another Resurrect here. Coming back in. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, no.
That hurts. I missed it. I don't know what happened, where the disconnect was between Durian Dave and 12 Yan.
I think they popped Barrage at the exact moment that Blade was popped.
That is
if I'm being completely
unlucky.
honest. Yeah.
And now you got to start from scratch on building that next blade. You got to wonder if they'll even be able to do it in 50 seconds.
Yeah.
I'd say it's possible. They might need the Nano in order to do it, though.
Yes.
As
Yeah,
now
they
it does
might
look like
need the
they're
Nano.
walking through this right side towards the Nano. I mean, towards the Mega.
But what dive targets do you have?
I think your best bet is a Nano Monkey here. They got to get something going to get that high ground clear. They do manage to get Jog off. Nano coming out onto Timbo. Timbo going deep, looking for big damage. And it just doesn't look so close to that Primal Rage, but they are going to get slept. Are they going to be able to do enough as Griffin just continuing to shell out damage and find the picks that matter?
Timbo.
Zeus popping that bomb to clear out high ground and reset their mech. And ultimately, it's just kind of a sad sight. Looks like the writing might be on the wall as Durian Dave is trying to make something happen here. Tries to take out Pyrosia, but Pyrosia is going to pop the Valkyrie. A very hard Mercy to kill. Still very low on health. And this is a scrappy fight as Royalty really trying to make something happen here. Jog all alone on point. He's going to get cleaned up by Swifters. And this could be Royalty's opportunity. They have the bodies if they can clear Griffin and survive the onslaught of this Pharah. But it just doesn't seem like they have a clean answer, as Pyrosia is just assisting with that blue beam to put out so much damage. And now it's just the tanks for Royalty alive on this objective as Timbo falls. Iconic very close behind. Durian Dave trying to make something happen. 82% to his blade, but is it going to be enough? Gets cleaned up by Griffin's Barrage. And that is all she wrote to first point Anubis.
His 5th barrage. Oh my gosh.
That is a lot of barrages.
That is, Griffin was unchallenged. Okay, that was one attack that I have not seen in quite a while. So one thing that comes immediately to the forefront of what I want to talk about is disconnect. I think that there was a severe disconnect between the dive and the counter dive. I don't think that there was a very good dive target for Royalty to use with the ball, Tracer, and Genji. I think that they probably should have switched almost immediately when they saw the Pharah and the Monkey. I don't think that was the right composition for them to run. I think that it was not the best choice, and not only was it not the best choice, but I also believe that how they ran the composition, which was incredibly slowly, was just not a great play.
Yeah, and it's like I said earlier, you had that hit squad of Durian, Dave, Soccer Steve, and Iconic, trying to roll out with all these dive heroes, but they just couldn't seem to make anything happen. It felt like every time that Royalty got a pick, it wasn't the Mercy, so it almost felt completely negligible.
Right.
And it looks like they've doubled down on sitting on this platform now, running the double barrier Sigma Orisa composition. Durian, Dave with a Pharah Mercy of their own.
All right, they're going to be going against the pocketed Echo.
Play this Ash and poke away. Because now we watch Orca. Crafty jumps in to open up a little bit of space for their team as Griffin on the Echo coming in to find a duel with Durian Dave. And once again, a slow start to the round as Crafty, desperately trying to get out, is going to get booped back in by that concussive blast. Going to jump back up. A very bold move from Crafty here with so little health. And it does look like they're barely going to make it out. Zeus manages to find Durian Dave. That is a huge opportunity here as Swifters cannot possibly res that at this point in time. And now Timbo down to Griffin. Soccer Steve does manage to find Porosia's Mercy, but will it be enough as Zeus finds a third kill in this fight? This Diva just absolutely opening up the offense, and that is going to be more than enough to cap first objective Anubis and claim their second map.
Zeus just carrying Orca right on their back. Like, that was an incredible Diva play. He was playing off on the bridge side almost entirely by himself, just poking away at the Diva, again and again and again. Or the Pharah, rather. He was on Diva. But yeah, he was just completely uncontested. Both of the tanks and the DPS were all looking at the entirety of Royalty and didn't even care about the Diva, and he was able to do whatever he wanted. Not to say that Griffin didn't do a really fantastic job, almost completely uncontested during their defensive round, but a big showing here by Orca, and Royalty going to the break here is going to have a lot to think about on how they want to come back for possibly the final map.
Indeed. You really got to give it to Orca. Just such a strong defense. We actually, Griffin was the obvious one, but you've still got Jog putting out a ton of work. I don't actually know if Jog died at any point on that defense. Just playing a hella slippery soldier, just pumping out the damage and playing so split that he was impossible to pin down and make a valuable kill. And that's really just kind of how that composition works. They seem to really understand that they needed to space themselves. And Royalty just didn't have an answer.
No, they did not. And I mean, it seems as though they want to stick on compositions for a little bit longer than necessary, because they just want to continue to force maybe the one thing that they scrim over and over again, and then when they meet an immovable object, it just seems like they kind of don't have an answer for it, which is really unfortunate. Because Overwatch, with the incredible hero pool that we have thus far, um, there are so many answers to each composition that you come into contact with.
Yeah, definitely. We watched 2 maps now where I've looked at, Iconic's choice to play ball, and I've questioned it. I do hope that maybe we see something a little more classic, maybe a Winston Diva the next time that they wanna play something a little divey, something that Iconic can kinda live in the fight. I think that's the real issue thus far, is that Iconic is, swinging in, swinging out, but, you need that staying power
Yeah,
sometimes, and
yeah.
that's gonna just give Durian Dave, Soccer Steve, or Sip and Fanta a lot of space to work with. That being said, a dive map we are not rolling into.
No,
So,
no, we're we're going to be coming into Kings Row after this break, so we will see you guys in about 5 minutes here in Pachimari Overwatch Tournament Season 2. We'll come back at you right after this.